Drive the Palm Beaches is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches. Log on to thepalmbeaches.tv to see more.
We're here at Wheels Across the Pond, and I'm sitting here in a McLaren Senna. Only 500 of these were made. Let's go check out this awesome event. I'm here with Neil Archer, and you kind of coordinate this whole event. So can you tell me a little bit about what you do?
I do, yeah. So Wheels Across the Pond started in 2007 out in Jupiter Farms. We had a British pub out there. I own the British pub, and I thought about doing a car show. A little one, a little meet, and we ended up getting 45 cars to our first meet. And then a friend of mine who brought the cars in, he says, why don't you think about doing a show? And so I'm like, what, a real show with cars and trophies and classes? So it ended up that we did our first show in 2007, and we got 145 cars.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really good for the first year.
It was amazing. We were blown away. 95 goodie bags before the show, and then the load turned up on the day. This year is our 13th year, so we moved out to Carlin Park, the present location, in 2010, and we've been here ever since. And this year was 260 entries.
Wow.
Ahead of the show, and we just hit 301. And we've never gone above 300, so that's pretty good.
That's awesome. So this year you're celebrating Bentleys, right?
We have, yeah.
100 years.
100 years. Yeah, we've done that a couple of times. We had 100 years of Aston Martin back in 2013, I believe. We did the 50 years of the E-Type Jaguar. We did the 50 years of the Sunbeam Tiger. So, you know, if it coordinates with the year that there's a special event, we'll do something.
Yeah.
And so, you know, Bentley, we've been waiting for this one.
Yeah,
you know.
it's a big year.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of Bentleys. You got to take some video footage of the Bentleys here, because the classic 8-litre there, the 31's a beautiful car. But you know, some of the modern ones too. They're gorgeous. Yeah.
They are gorgeous. I saw them out over there, and I just want to take a look at them and sit in them. It's just luxurious.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite car here today?
Oh my goodness, it's
There's so many of them.
There's so many. It's all about taste, you know. I must say, I'm looking down there now at that orange McLaren Senna. I think there were only. You see it right there?
Yeah.
I mean, you see a couple of orange ones,
I mean, that's
right?
a good pick.
There were only 500 of them made in the world, and I think the last one that came off the production line sold at auction for like $2.8 million. It's a hypercar. I mean, I don't know. I love the classics too, but that one for me right now is like. Have you seen the 21 Rolls-Royce Ghost?
No, I haven't seen it.
From the Boardwalk Empire, that's a pretty cool car too. Yeah, that's up there with the Rolls and the Bentleys. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got a good variety of cars out here.
Yeah, we do.
If someone comes here, what do you expect to see? Can you explain the
Oh my
environment?
goodness! It's one of those things where you walk through the show field and you look at a car and you're like, what's that? And then you look next to them and there's 6 more exactly like that. I'm looking up at the hill right there. We've got 12 Triumph TR6s. It's amazing, and people don't see one TR6, let alone 12. Around the path there of the amphitheater, there's Austin Healey 3000s. You know, that's a $150,000 classic any day of the week, and we've got 9 of them. It's one of those shows where, you know, you hear of the car show, and you know, most of them here are most muscle cars. You know, they're American muscle cars. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
What makes our show so unique is that it's all British and European classics. You know, they're little tiny cars. You know, that probably people back in the 60s and 70s would have dreamt that they could own.
Yeah.
They have never had the means to, right? Now they have the means to, and you know, I'm 50, and so I grew up with these cars. My family never had a lot of money, so these were dream cars to them, you know. Now I'm getting into it where I'm thinking, you know, I can have that car now. Because, you know, you get more successful as years go on, right? And you think, oh yeah, it's time to get into a classic again.
Yeah.
That's what this show is all about.
My name is Glenn Miller, and my wife and I, Jane, we are part of Small Town Adventures, and we travel the United States in our 1973 MG Midget and write about small town life. It's a great way to travel, and it's kind of what this car was designed for in the 70s. We come to Wheels Across the Pond because it's probably one of the larger places for MG Midgets and MGBs in the state of Florida. I love driving to Palm Beaches.
tell me about your VW bus.
It's a 1971 walk-through sleeper, which means the table will fold down and the bed comes out into a full 5-foot bed. And then the inside is all teak and holly. We rhino-lined the whole inside, 2.5-year restoration, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I have so much fun with this bus.
This is what's called a Land Rover 101 forward control. It was originally built for the British military, served most of its time in Germany. That's the reason why it's a left-hand drive. When we first got the vehicle, it was still an ambulance, so it was green, it had the crosses on the side, it was a lot lower and had a slightly different engine. So over the years, the technicians at the store have slowly been modifying it. So we jacked it up, we painted it, had the exoskeletal roll cage built for the vehicle. So the next thing we need to do is put power steering into it, and it would be also nice if we got some AC.
This is a very rare car. It's been built this past year. 500 cars made. It's almost 800 horsepower. It weighs about 2,600 pounds, and it's actually a track car that you can put number plates on because it's street legal, but it's as close to a track car that you can find. It has tremendous downforce, as you can see by that big wing. So the downforce that this car creates is about half the weight of the car, which means it stays firmly planted to the ground. It's very fast and really easy to drive. It's a magnificent automobile that McLaren has come up with.
How fast have you gotten it up to
Well,
so far? Are you taking it slow right now?
Well, I've only had it on the street, but you know, or on the highway, let's say, and maybe get it over 100. Let's put it that way.
So fast.
But you try to watch yourself.
Yeah, I
you
know.
It's better to be on the track.
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful, stable car. Great car. This is a special order color. It's called Papaya Spark. So the McLaren racing colors are this orange, and usually they have blue if you look at the Formula One cars. So that's a play on that, but this has a nice metal flake. So it's called Papaya Spark.
So what is it like to have your event here in the Palm Beaches?
Where else better than this? I've traveled extensively throughout Florida. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. You know, I'm British, and I think a lot of people either end up in Fort Lauderdale or they end up in Orlando because of Disney.
Yeah.
And then when they get there, it's like, why the hell did we choose this, right?
Oh, Palm Beach is where it's at.
You're 2 hours up the turnpike. I love it here. I live in Jupiter Farms. I sell real estate here. I just love where we live, right?
It's a great place to be.
Fantastic place to be.